us that Raila is the one who has caused problems in government. He persuaded us, and he's a very persuasive leader, and we were persuaded. President William Ruto persuaded us that if we allow Raila Odinga to become president, this country will not move forward. And as a result, we disagreed with President Uhuru Kenyatta and rejected Raila Odinga and gave our vote to President William Ruto. So when we came into office, it was my agreement with President William Ruto that we will not allow Raila into government. But along the way, my boss, President William Ruto, changed his mind. And he is a boss. And in this situation, Sam, we are not in a co-presidency. I'm just a principal assistant to the president. What he says is what carries the day, and I don't argue with him. I may have reservations, and I raise it with them. He persuades me many times. Other times he overrules me. And when I realized that he started having a relationship with Raila Odinga, I slowly gave way, because the boss is always right, you know? And that is why many people say, oh, regarding Gachagua, he had said he has put traps in State House so that Raila Odinga has not come. Yeah, that was my agreement with President William Ruto. But that is not my house. The minute I realize they are meeting, they are interacting, I'm also not a stupid person, and I don't have to be told, you know, in black and white. I relaxed, and I stopped even attacking Raila Odinga, and I let the president have his way. So by the time he decided to bring him into government, I had already formed an opinion that the president wants to work with Raila Odinga, and I was quite happy with it. In any case, my brother and long-time confidant, President Uhuru Kenyatta, had told us that Raila is a good man. President William Ruto convinced us otherwise. And we abandoned our son Uhuru Kenyatta, and we decided to go with President William Ruto. Now President William Ruto has told us exactly what President Uhuru Kenyatta had said, that Raila is a good man, we can work with him. If two presidents says a man is good, who are you to argue with him? So we have said Raila Odinga is a good man, and let's work with him. Let's make him part of our political process, and let us build the country together. And I want to say, myself and my political base, the Mount Kenya region, have no problem whatsoever with Raila Odinga. In fact, what people are saying, and it's very interesting, they are saying a Mount Kenya king does not pronounce himself twice on a matter. Our son, President Uhuru Kenyatta, had pronounced himself on this matter. So that pronouncement carries the day. As we stand today, me and the mountain people are quite happy with Raila Odinga, and we don't have a problem with him whatsoever. And I can tell you, because it's important that I say so, myself and the mountain people feel very bad that we punished Uhuru Kenyatta, we demeaned him, we told him off, we embarrassed him for telling us that Raila Odinga is a good man, and we were very, very brutal with him, and we really hammered him. It has come to our knowledge that it was very unfair, because his crime was to tell us that Raila Odinga is a good man, and we decided that Raila Odinga is a bad man, William Ruto is a good man. Now that President William Ruto has said Raila is a good man, that is why I apologize to Uhuru Kenyatta and his family. And I owed him an apology on behalf of the community, because what he had told us is what the president has told us. We had no business fighting him. We had no business disrespecting him. We had no business humiliating him. Right. So myself and the community, you know, owe Uhuru Kenyatta an apology. And I give that apology on behalf of the community. Okay. You know, and we said, you know, we know, because that's what he had told us. And we were very unfair to him, because, so, you know.
Knowing what you know today, would you have made a different decision if you knew that in 2022?
Well, you cannot talk backwards. You know, I can't say what we would have done or not done, but things keeps on changing. Yeah, but now we are saying everybody is good.
You have said that once the king pronounces themselves, the pronouncement stands. Does that mean Uhuru Kenyatta is still the king of the mountain?
Oh, yes, yes. You didn't know? Uhuru Kenyatta is the undisputed king of the mountain.
And what is your relationship with him?
Good. Brotherly.
When did you do that?
Oh, we talk. You know what happens with our community? We are a very interesting community. We don't fight. We fight very rarely, and when we do, when we realize we fought without a good reason, we patch up.
So when was that?
Oh, yeah.
How many months ago? Which month? Which year?
We've been, when we realized we made a mistake, I'm the one who made the first move of reaching out and apologizing, because really we were unfair to Uhuru Kenyatta. You know, we were very, very unfair. Sometime I really feel very bad that I was so brutal on a man who was my great friend, my confidant, my brother, my kinsman. I was so brutal on him. And his crime was only one, saying Raila is a good man. And then the man I said, we don't want Raila Odinga, we want William Ruto. Then he comes and says the same thing. I felt very stupid, In fact, another day, a very senior person abused me at the airport and called me stupid 5 times. And I looked at it, I was very bitter, but I looked at it later at night, and I thought probably he was right. I think I was stupid to fight my own brother, my kinsman, my confidant, for no good reason, for saying another person is a good man. I really regret what I did, and my community does regret, and we are very apologetic to the Kenyatta family. And what happens in my community is a saying that making a mistake is not bad, but repeating is unforgivable. And by the way, let me tell you some. From the experience of my community, myself and the leaders and the whole community fighting Uhuru Kenyatta, our son, a decision has been made by the community. In fact, it's a covenant. Never again shall the people of the mountain ever fight their own.
When was that decision made?
The people, the Meru, the Embu, they just talk slowly. That has been agreed on. And that's why you find when a few leaders are being told to fight Rigathi Gachagua, they are finding it very difficult, because a decision has already been made.
When?
That, like almost a year ago.
By who?
By the community.
In what forum?
Don't worry.
There are millions.
You don't know our people.
There are millions of people.
Our people don't talk in meetings. They have a way of communicating. That is how they drove the British out of this land, by communicating silently. There is a covenant among the Mount Kenya people that they will never again, ever be confused by anybody, be used by anybody to fight their own leader. They will never do it. And I also want to tell you, for the avoidance of doubt, for those who are trying to divide the Kikuyu, the Meru, and Embu, it's an exercise in futility. Those 3 are one, and finally they will be one. And we have seen these things happen during the Azimio campaign. You use a lot of money, you call meetings, you call MCAs, you call people in tents, you give them money, you persuade them, they take your money. Finally, they make a decision. And you see what they did in 2022. I can tell you, this attempt to divide the Kikuyu, the Embu, and the Meru is an exercise in futility. You can spend billions, you can spend money, you can have meetings, night meetings in hotels, in what forums.
Okay.
But finally, the people of the mountain are one, and they will never be divided, and they will not agree. They have made mistakes before, they will not repeat them.
Deputy President, on the 26th of June, 2024, you were in Mombasa, addressing a press conference shortly after the president had spoken, and you were questioning when the rain started beating the government of Kenya Kwanza, the administration of Kenya Kwanza. And you went out to attack Nuruddin Haji, the Director General of the National Intelligence Service, accusing him that he should take responsibility of the Gen Z protest that led to what we saw at Parliament on June 25th. What was your role in those protests?
None. My statement in Mombasa is on record. I don't want to delve into it. I pronounced myself. I said what I thought of the situation. And that remains my truth. And anybody can challenge me otherwise. I don't want to delve into that statement because it was a public statement for consumption.
Do you stand with it?
I said what I said.
Do you stand with it?
Have I ever issued another statement countering that one?
You believe the National Intelligence Service is responsible for the protests?
I've said some, please allow me, I don't want to go into the merits and the demerits of that statement. The statement was crystal clear. It was in broad daylight. It is still there. You can interrogate it.
Why would you come out and make such a statement about an officer who sits in the National Security Council, yet you have access to him or even the president?
I have said I made that statement. I don't want to go into it. Please allow me not to go into it. That statement I made in broad daylight. You covered it live. It is still there. You can go and read it and listen to it once more.
But in the spirit of accountability, because it was your statement, and I believe you made it after thorough consideration, and you raised issues to the person of the Director General. You said he should resign. You still believe so?
I have said I talked to that day. Sam, allow me to leave it there. I don't want to go into that matter.
Do you think that your tribulations have something to do with how you conducted yourself during that period?
I don't think so. They did not start then. I told you we just worked well for 1 year, and then all these games and schemes started. They had nothing to do with it. That was my own reading of the situation then, and I talked to the people of Kenya as an elected leader.
When is the last time you attended a meeting of the National Security Council?
Well, National Security Council meetings are top secret. I don't want us to...
I don't want the details.
I don't want us to go into the details.
When is the last time you attended a meeting?
I think earlier this month, I think so.
Earlier this month. Was the NIS Director General in attendance?
Of course it was.
Have you patched up your differences?
No, I don't want to go into the details of the National Security Council. That's a top security organ for this country.
It is not about the National Security Council. I'm asking if you have patched up your relationship with him.
Did I say we have personal differences? I was giving an opinion.
An opinion?
Yeah, on that day.
But you said as a matter of fact.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I won't record what I said. I made a public statement as an elected leader of what I thought of the situation.
What responsibility should the administration of Kenya Kwanza take in regard to the lives that have been lost in those protests?
Some I have said that matter, I addressed it comprehensively. Let it rest there.
I'm actually not talking about the statement. I'm talking about the killing of 60 people, at least 60, as reported by the Kenya National Human Rights Commission, KNCHR, which the government is yet to admit about the total number. The last, I think we have from the president, about 40. By the way, how many people died in those protests?
You asked that question to the president. He's the chairman of the National Security Council. I don't want to talk about security matters and operational issues because I am not competent enough to address operational issues in the National Police Service.
You're the deputy president.
I am, but I don't comment on operational issues. I'm a very disciplined deputy president. I know my space.
You don't have information about how many people died?
I am not going to comment on operational issues to do with the National
That's
Police
not an
Service.
operational issue. It's a fact. It's a statement of fact.
It's an operational issue.
The cabinet, in different dispatches, indicated that compensation was going to be given or granted to families that lost their loved ones. What is the progress about that?
You would have to check with the minister who is responsible for the implementation of the cabinet decision. You see, once we have met in cabinet, every line minister takes the responsibility of implementing the cabinet decision. So I don't have the facts because I have not asked for that answer as to how far we have gone with the implementation. I would advise that you seek out the minister.
How important is that matter to you?
Very important.
But you have no information.
Yes, because I have not asked about it.
Why?
I have many things that I need to ask about every day. And when the time comes, we'll get a report. In any case, you are aware we have not had cabinet for a long time. The first cabinet committee, the inaugural committee, met this week. We have not had cabinet meetings for almost 2 months. I think so.
So the last one was, I think, July, early July.
I think so.
Then cabinet was dismissed on July 11.
I think so. For almost 2 months, we have not had cabinet meetings.
So what should we do? What should the country do? Because they're waiting for answers. There was a promise by the president.
You follow up with the minister responsible for that particular docket. Because you see, once cabinet has met and made resolutions of cabinet, it is in cabinet upon the respective cabinet secretary to follow up and implement what the cabinet has decided.
What are your thoughts? Because the Gen Z-led protests were because of the Finance Act of Finance Bill 2024. Why didn't your administration listen to the people, and what responsibility would you take?
You heard my statement. The answer is there.
We're here. We're speaking to you, Deputy
saying,
President.
Sam Gituku, I gave a very comprehensive statement in Mombasa.
And he doesn't have to repeat
what I
it.
felt. I still feel the same way.
That?
Yeah.
That
we must listen to the people. That was my position.
So why didn't the government listen to the people?
Sam, I've pronounced myself on that matter.
Please give me an answer, Deputy President. Why didn't the government listen to the people?
But we listened to the people. We shared the finance bill. But already too much damage had already occasioned, and that was the gist of my statement.
So why did we have to check that?
That is the question I was asking. Do we have to wait for things to get to this magnitude for us to act? That's what I was asking then.
Before that time, did you try to propose the voice of reason to those that...
I always do. And quite a number of people are uncomfortable with me for always speaking the truth and saying that we need to listen to the people.
And what happened if you raise those issues?
Well, I cannot give you details of what happens in cabinet. Cabinet meetings are top secret, and I am bound by...
I'm not talking about cabinet meetings.
No, those forums, my opinions, are given in cabinet. I cannot divulge to you what my opinions were, because I will be in breach of the oath of secrecy.
You know, you told me that you're accountable to the people of Kenya, and if anyone has a problem with you, they should actually consult the people of Kenya if they're disappointed with you. But you're here, I'm asking you a question about your role in making sure that what happened on June 25th didn't happen, but you won't explain.
But I have explained to you, I was very clear, I pronounced myself on the matter, that we need to listen to the people more. What more do you want me to tell you? That is my stand.
I'm asking what happened that, who was not listening? That's what I'm asking.
I've told you, Sam, I have said we need to listen to people all the time.
And if you made that counsel to whoever, who is that didn't listen to you?
Well, I don't want to apportion blame. I made my pronouncement that it is good as people's employees who we are, we must continuously listen to the employer, the people of Kenya.
For the first time, people died at the entrance of Parliament. When that happened, you were the Deputy President of the Republic of Kenya. What responsibility do you take?
I pronounced myself on the matter.
Please give me an answer.
No, but what answer do you want me to give you? I said what I thought about the matter. The answer is in my statement.
And you're here. That was June 26th.
No, but I'm saying the statement
is there. Okay to repeat it.
No. Why do you want me to repeat it?
Because I'm asking the question.
You have it in your archives. My answer to what happened is in my statement.
Why don't you want to talk about this?
But I said where the blame lies. The statement is there. Why do you want me to go into it? I said. I have not recanted that statement. I still stand by it. So go and look at the statement.
Why don't you want to talk about this?
I don't want to go into it.
Because?
Because I don't think it is necessary. Because my statement was very explicit.
Over 60 families are still waiting.
But my statement was very explicit.
For answers.
I made myself
No action has been taken against any police officer. Are you bothered by that?
You know whom you need to ask that question.
I'm asking
who is supposed to take the action?
Sorry?
Who is supposed to take the action?
You tell me.
You know.
Who?
What are you saying? What do you want me to tell you? You know I'm the Deputy President.
Exactly.
You know who is supposed to take action against police officers. Go and ask them that question.
Who?
You know.
I wish you could tell me the answer.
No, I'm not. Why do you want me to help you to do your research?
I don't want you to help me, just respond. Kenyans, it's not about
I am not going to
Kenyans are watching.
Kenya, you know, you tell the Kenyans, you know. Go and look for that person and ask that question. That is not my question. I am not in charge of that docket. So I cannot answer a question that doesn't belong to me.
So you say we should go to the Interior Ministry?
I don't know. If you think that's where we need to go, proceed.
Now, Deputy President, there are those that accuse you that you have been given duties in the Constitution and the Executive Order number 2 of 2023, but you have not been very successful in delivering. talking about illicit brew, questions of coffee, tea, and milk. You
Yeah.
made promises.
Some. I was given many duties. One of them is to chair cabinet committees. I've chaired 35 cabinet committees and successfully prosecuted 333 agenda items to the cabinet. If anybody wants to call that underperformance, then my English fails me. Number two, I'm in charge of intergovernmental relations. Since I became the deputy president, I've created the most conducive environment ever between the two levels of government. Before we came to office, the county governments and the national government were at war. And through good leadership, through bringing people together, I was able to put our county commissioners together with our governors and tell them that we serve the same people. I have successfully held IBEC meetings. We have discussed the division of revenue bill, and the devolution agenda is ongoing. That is Rigathi Gachagua who has done that. Rigathi Gachagua is in charge of international development partnerships. I have chaired the Development Partners Forum. I've held meetings with our development partners. I have made all the necessary interventions between the National Treasury, the Attorney General's Office, the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, to unlock billions of dollars that were held because of bureaucracy, because there was no liaison between the development partners and the national government. I am in charge of constitutional commissions and independent offices. I have held meetings with constitutional commissions and independent offices, the Chief Justice, the Attorney General, the Inspector General of Police. For the record, there was a very big dispute between the Inspector General of Police and the National Police Service. Through my office, I mediated and solved the problems. They used to exchange insults in the press. You have not seen that anymore. That is work that I did. I have successfully mediated differences between the Ministry of Education and the Teacher Service Commission. And you can see they are working in harmony. Again, Sam,
Right.
I'm in charge of the development program by World Bank of about $3 billion for Northern and Northeastern Kenya. I have successfully held meetings and organized for fast tracking of programs in Northern and Northeastern Kenya for those counties funded by the World Bank. Again, that is work in my office. In matters coffee, the president assigned me to lead coffee reforms. He did not tell me to take over the Ministry of Agriculture or to take over the Ministry of Cooperative Development. He asked me to initiate and drive coffee reforms. I held a very successful coffee conference in Meru and brought all the partners, all the stakeholders together. And out of that conference, we have worked with those stakeholders and come up with the Coffee Bill 2023 that is now before the National Assembly. In that bill, we have recommended the re-establishment of the Coffee Board of Kenya to market coffee for farmers so that they can get away from private entrepreneurs. We have recommended the revival of the Coffee Research Foundation so that we can work on variety and disease-resistant varieties. And we have come up with a direct sales settlement where farmers sell their coffee directly and receive their proceeds directly. Under my watch, we have reopened the Nairobi Coffee Exchange, and auctions are taking place every week. Once the Coffee Bill 2023 is approved by Parliament, accepted by the President, all the reforms that we have been working on will be complete, and farmers will get their money. And I also want to say, through our intervention, a lot of coffee societies are getting over 100 shillings in terms of pricing. Where we have challenges...
That's per kilo?
Yeah, per kilo. And our ideal price is about 150, and we'll get there. There is a factory, I think, in the Gariama in Kirinyaga with about 122 shillings. And I want to assure you that once we have another bill before Parliament, the Cooperative Bill of 2023, to deal with the governance and integrity issues around cooperative societies. Once that bill has been approved and assented by the President, it will strengthen leadership in cooperative societies. Where you see a lot of demonstrations, it has nothing to do with the pricing. It has a lot to do with the mismanagement of coffee farmers' earnings by wrong officials. The Cooperative Bill of 2023 will address that. And that is why people must know. I've seen some politicians trying to attack me about coffee. Where they come from, they don't even have coffee. They don't understand coffee. I was educated with the coffee proceeds myself. And I know once this bill becomes law, and I'll assist in the implementation of that law, farmers will be very happy. But I want to tell people, the fact that I was overseeing coffee reforms did not make me the CS for agriculture or for cooperative development. The day-to-day running of the coffee subsector in terms of production, in terms of yield, in terms of quality, belongs to the Ministry of Agriculture. The day-to-day running of marketing coffee, overseeing the cooperative societies, that docket is in the State Department of Cooperatives. Okay. What I'm doing is overseeing reforms in matters tea. Sam. Yeah. I held the tea conference in Kericho. Again, we brought all the stakeholders. And I want to tell you, there were a big problem because of the Tea Act that was brought by Senator Cheriot that could not be implemented because various stakeholders had gone to court. Through my intervention, I have successfully negotiated all those cases to be dropped. Now the Tea Act will be implemented to the letter, and coffee farmers will get a return on investment. Okay. We have had challenges in Mombasa about tea that has not been sold. I found some leaders here going to incite people in the Mount Kenya region that tea has not been sold in Mombasa because Rigathi Gachagua has failed. For the avoidance of doubt, all the tea from the Mount Kenya region, that is called the Eastern region, has been sold because of very high quality. Where we have had a challenge is tea from the Western region, Kericho, Bomet, Nandi, because what happened is that they put a reserve price. The reserve price was too high against the quality, and therefore the stocks were not moving. I went there and we have removed the reserve price, brought it a little bit down so that the stocks can move. And I want to tell you, I was just looking at the figures. Here. Out of the reforms that we have done in the tea sector, you know, the coffee, the tea bonus for this year, you know, if you look at a factory called Kaba, last year the bonus was 41 shillings. Today it is 50 this year. In Kagwe, in Lari, it was 44. Now it is 44.25. In Theta it was 42, it is 50. In Gachege it was 40, it is 46. I can say that we are having an increase in terms of bonus. Where we have challenges, and you have seen many demonstrations, again those demonstrations are part of the reforms that we have made of educating the farmer. Right. It is where the tea directors have increased the cost of production. They are having too many travels, they are having too many allowances, so the cost of production is eating on the profit of the tea farmer. Again, because of these reforms that we have done in the tea sector, farmers are aware of what is happening. In matters alcoholic drinks, in terms of illicit alcohol and drugs, if there is one program the government of President William Ruto can boast about, is that program that the president asked me to spearhead. Our young people are dying because of illicit brews.